community.
Right.
Bobby Book said he might be on, then he might not, so. Okay. Probably not.
Hello. Lois, I drive by that beautiful sign at Veterans Field all the time. It's really, really nice.
Yes. My relatives listed.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Bill.
Hey, Marie, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Bill.
Hey, how's it going? Happy New Year, Lois.
Thank you.
So
Yes, you-
Lorna, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Lois.
I was just gonna say, ask Bill if you saw the sign.
He did, you mean on Chestnut Street?
Yep.
Yeah, he
It's all
did
set.
see it. He's the one that sent the pictures to me.
The big sign.
Lorna, do you see, and I'm trying to claim host and go through that, and the bottom of the screen looks different, so I don't see claim host or 3 dots, or do you see any of that?
Marie, at the bottom of the participants, I see something that says claim host. If you open up participants.
Okay, Marie's computer just went down. She's trying to get back on. Ah. Okay, so for now, we'll just start with, I'll call a meeting to order and we'll just at least maybe as far as the mission statement to see if she can get back on before, I don't want to claim host if she's able to get back on. Okay, so it is January 9th, 2023. And starting the meeting at 7:05 PM. Call the meeting to order. Let us do the Pledge of Allegiance. Lois, do you have your flag? I have one if you don't. Do you have your flag, Lois?
Yeah, right in front.
Okay. Oh, we can't see it.
Yeah, with the background, it blurs it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our mission is to address the needs and concerns of our disabled residents and provide their full participation in the activities and services of Wakefield.
Thank you, Lorna.
Oh, there you are, okay.
I'll tell you. Okay. Do we, let's see, are we missing anyone? Okay, we have 2 participants from the public. Bob Brooks and Broen Delavope, how are you? Welcome this evening.
Thank you.
Mr. Brooks, would you like to go first, please?
No, I wanted to, I was mostly listening. I really didn't have comments at this time. But if Braun has a comment and she's willing to go, that's fine. And then I can maybe say something afterwards if that would be all right.
Yep, that's fine.
Thank you.
Like Bob, I don't really have any specific comments at the moment, except that I am very interested in the letter that you received from the Melrose Commission on Disabilities. This is something that I brought to the attention of a couple of your members several months ago. So, but at least I'm glad that it is on your radar now. Because it's with the vocational school, I think it's some very major concerns that I'm so happy that you'll be addressing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So,
right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Brooks, would you like to say something?
Sure. Yeah, I just like to add what Braun said. I just read part of the letter, but I understand the concept of it. There's many things that I've heard over the past couple of years about this building, this proposed building, and some of the issues about the access roadway at the Conservation Committee. They're talking about putting a roundabout in there. And as far as the roadway that comes up from a proposed Farm Street that travels a half a mile up to the school, they had a plan on not to put sidewalks in, which if anybody wanted access to go to the top of the school would have the access from Farm Street, but there was no sidewalks. It was only streetways. So to me, anybody with a disability wouldn't have any access to reach that school. The only way they would have access is to go back and come in the school from the Hemlock roadway, which they would have to go up to the switchback walkways. There's staircases up there. If they're up there during the winter time, there's ice that goes over there. It's going to be a safety issue for the kids, and especially any kids that are handicapped. There's just so many things that are wrong with this project, especially with the disabilities, that it's like the old proverbial trying to put a square peg in a round hole. They're trying to fit whatever they can when they can, and as far as anybody with a disability, it's not going to work now, and it will not work in the future. And that's basically what the the original in 2016, Dorn Whittier, the original architect, said it's not feasible to build on this site. The accessibility is going to be poor. They knew it, but unfortunately, the school building committee and how it's structured wouldn't believe it, and they decided to go to a different venue and pick this site as the site with the worst blasting, the worst accessibility for anybody, let alone having somebody with a handicap. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell for what I have to say. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Excuse me.
Just one other thing I'd just like to admit, I am in a butter to this project.
Okay. So before we address that, I'd like to just kind of keep with our agenda. And the next item on the agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes. Written here, it says December 5th, but we also need to approve the meeting minutes from November 7th. Does someone want to please make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for both November 7th and December 5th? Thank you, Katie. And does someone want to second that, please? Thank you, Judy. Okay. All in favor? Okay, so those are approved. Lois, any change in the finances?
I can give you the number if you like it.
You know what, just, we'll do that via, yeah, all right, why don't you go ahead and do that, please?
$11,366.29.
Okay, great, thank you. So the next, I'm going to reverse, we only have 2 topics for discussion this evening, and I will reverse them so that we can discuss the Melrose letter first. We also have Bill Renaud on the call. I asked him to join us as well as our ADA coordinator. So I think that the best way to handle this is, you know, we all can debate this all night. We all have our opinions on where this stands, but I think the best way for us to handle this is to request through Bill that the individual on this project that will be the most versed in the accessibility concerns that we have be asked to come to a meeting and present specifically on the accessibility and disability issues. And because obviously Melrose is interested, we're interested, and my suspicion is that probably some of the other disability commissions in the towns in which the VOC supports are probably interested, that we should make this an event and invite those disability commissions. We probably want to also address it to the special ed PACs, because I'm sure parents of kids that have accessibility issues are concerned, or just in the special ed program in general, and maybe extend that invitation as well to the special ed directors in each of the affected towns. So, Bill, if we decide that we want to do that, I understand it would be you that would reach out, and would we be requesting that this individual or that group host this meeting, or would we want to host that meeting? So, you know, I don't know if it's feasible to do a Zoom meeting, or if we do in-person meeting somewhere, Galvin, the high school. What do you suggest?
Well, I mean, I think you could probably do it through a Zoom if you chose to.
Okay.
When you regularly scheduled meeting and just add it in, inviting the other folks, if that's how you want to do it. I mean, I think
Well,
that you know, you know, we could go and have a public meeting at a location if there's a benefit to it. But I mean, I think the one benefit of the Zoom component is that you can still have the presentation and, everyone can be heard a little bit easier. But, if the commission would rather have it as as an actual on-site location meeting somewhere, I'm happy to coordinate that.
I'm just wondering, I don't know what kind of response we would get to this. And so how many, how many participants does Zoom allow?
That's a good question. I mean, well over 50, 60. I mean, if I guess if we get a larger response that might dictate it, I can look into all that too. Boy, if that's how you want to do it. That's a good question.
Can I interject for a moment, please?
Yes,
From
sure.
my understanding is, if you're not on the free Zoom account, the most popular is 110 attendees per meeting.
Okay.
The next one up, which is what the Zoom calls the business package, allows for 300 attendees per meeting, and that's up to 30 hours per meeting. And I certainly hope we won't be
don't
going
think
for 30 hours, but
Yes. So this Zoom that we're on, Broen, is through the town. So I would
Yeah, I'm not sure
assume that
which
they've got the
version that-
business. I'm guessing they must have the business, but it certainly allows us to go more than 45 minutes, which is what I know that the free Zoom only allows. So.
yes, that's correct. So my guess, without checking with the town to see what they have, would be minimum of 100 attendees.
Right, that seems like it would be sufficient.
Yeah,
I
so I
would
mean, what I
like
can
to
do is I can,
agree that a Zoom meeting sounds like a good way to go, especially if other towns would like to participate, such as Melrose.
yeah, I think that's probably a better way to go.
So if we're thinking about February, I'm just thinking about weather. We don't have to worry about the weather if we're doing it over Zoom.
Right.
Right, or any month in that.
So what, I guess, Marie, what if we were to craft a email out to all the communities that are part of the tech, and then we can reach out to each of those commissions first as a starter, and then I guess we can ask them to invite whoever they think would make sense if there's special education folks would want to. I mean,
Okay.
sometimes they're separate, so it wouldn't necessarily be the town's special education person. It would, if anything, it would be the schools, but I can coordinate on my end to have that meeting set up. And, ideally, if we can do this prior to them actually filing with the ZBA, we can have some comments in hand from everyone. So what they're looking for. The accessibility would be probably paramount for the site plan review. And I think the idea of that switchback ramp is definitely concerning. I think they need to do something else aside from just that. But some of the other comments about the siting and whatnot, that's a little bit beyond, I think, what the commission scope would be. That's a kind of a different conversation at a different level. It's really not at the town level, honestly. That's at the state level, because I believe they've already got approved from the MSBA on the location, the siting, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, we would be, I don't know if there's an appeal process or something for residents to go through on that end. That would be probably an avenue to discuss, but we would be reviewing what's presented in front of us and providing comments accordingly, I think, is typically how we would handle this. And like I said, they haven't filed with the zoning board yet. They've filed with the Conservation Commission, and I've heard some interesting statements that were made that I don't think are consistent with my understanding. So I'll be working this week on trying to get to the bottom of the project direction on the access road in particular.
So my question is, if they're already as far along as they are in getting the site approved, is it MSBA that approves that?
It is.
School Building Association. Is there any possibility of changing the site, and is that going to delay the project by years? And do they have, and the funding and everything else? And
I'm not managing the project,
I know,
unfortunately.
and-
So that's a tough question to answer.
right. And who who was involved from a disability access point of view in creating this plan is what I'd like to know. And
Well, they have a civil engineer that does the design of the project
Mhm.
itself, but within the parameters of, really the steering committee for the tech. They must have some type of steering committee. Usually that's how it works. And they'd be the ones that are telling them where to, kind of what's going to go in the building, how that building's sited, the size of the building, all of those are done years ago. I mean, that's typically how this stuff works.
was there, who, as far as ADA was involved, if anyone, in making the decision
That's
about-
well, typically their engineers are going to be knowledgeable on it and would
Mhm.
provide, a design that meets it. I mean, I would say that the ramp meets the letter of the law. It's just not practical.
Right.
I mean, I think,
Right.
and that was something, the first thing that I saw, I mean, looking at it under my accessible, obviously the disability coordinator hat, but also as the town engineer hat, that was one of my first questions. That it's a little ridiculous, to be honest with you. So there need to be some other type of provisions, I think, for folks on the site. I mean, I don't see anybody in any type of wheelchair going down that ramp in any way, shape, or form. I mean, that would be. I might like to do it on my rollerblades, but I don't think that that's really, I can't even think I
I
could get
agree.
back up, honestly. So it's an interesting design for sure. But that's something that I would be commenting on when it gets to site plan review timeframe
Mhm.
for sure. Anyway, but I think that's something we can chat about, with the other boards as well. I'm sure that, I don't know to what level they've seen plans and how much they understand what's happening. So I think it would be good to kind of have a unified voice from all the folks that are in it, as opposed to just, maybe Melrose and Wakefield, kind of flying solo on it. So that definitely is a good idea to, to discuss, because, other people have different needs in other communities, and those commissions are charged similar to you and have to find ways to advocate for their, their students. So hopefully they'll be coming and doing the same for their students.
Does anybody else have any other comment in regard to this? So, Bill, you had mentioned doing this before filing with the ZBA. Do you know when that is? If we schedule this for our February meeting, which I think is like the 7th or something, is that sufficient time? Do we want to do this out of cycle? Looks like it's the 6th.
I think you could stay with a cycle as long as it's in line with the ZBA timeframes. I mean, with school uses, there are some exemptions that schools being built get from. They have certain zoning relief that's built into the regulations. But with all that being said, I don't even think they're really looking at many of those within this project. So, I think you'd be fine with the February meeting, to be honest with you, and then kind of moving from there, even if it had to push to the March, this isn't going through in one meeting. I can tell you, my staff and I just finished up our review of the stormwater this week, and we had a lot of questions and comments. So that'll take some time to address just those comments alone. I mean, that'll probably buy you a month just in addressing my comments. So.
Okay, so are we all good then with, we'll plan this for the February meeting? I know we had planned to have Mass Rehab Commission this week, and what they were planning to do and what we wanted were two different things. So I pushed them off to February, but we can certainly push them off to March, because I think this is more important. All right, so then that will be our plan. Then Bill will work with you to get a letter drafted to go to whoever the point of contact is, and make a request that we're interested in having a presentation on the 6th, and then February 6th, and then we will invite the other commissions. And as you suggested, allow them to invite whoever in their community they think might be interested in attending.
I think that makes sense. Yeah. And then, obviously I'll still be doing my review as I typically do. Wearing obviously both hats. So And I'll give you some updates as that process moves forward within this. If, probably, I would imagine by the March meeting, I'd have some updates on the permitting track and kind of where things are.
Okay. So members, we would, in addition to inviting the other commissions in the area, the Special Ed Parent Advisory Council here in Wakefield, who else would we want to include in our invitation? Who else would this be relevant to, do you think? Obviously, it would go in the item so that would get it out to the public. Yeah, right. So if you have any other thoughts, just
What about the veterans group?
do that.
In the senior center?
Okay.
Dave Mangan.
Sorry, Lois, did you say something?
I said Dave Mangan, who. is-
Okay, yeah, Peace Veterans, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Be worth it to mention to Mass Rehab as well, because I'm sure a lot of the people they support would be accessing the Vogue.
Okay. Okay. Anybody have any other questions for Bill? Okay, I think, Bill, thank you for joining. Thank you to Bob and Broen for your concern, and well, actually, I've noted that you were present, so we'll make sure that we keep you in the loop on what it is we end up with, the date, if anything changes, just so that you know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
will that be, I know that I'm on some of the alerts from the town. Would I receive an alert from that or any changes?
Actually, what we'll do is, I don't know how the alerts work, but the town, if we have anything to distribute via social media, the town usually does it on their website.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be set up as a public meeting, Bob. So it would be, it would be on
posted.
at least the blast for the Disability Commission, and then on the website as well.
Okay, I appreciate that. And my apologies for my comments earlier. Sometimes I run 2 or 3 things into one session. And still,
Okay, yeah, no
I
problem.
think I've never been more involved with town business in all the years I've lived there, except for the past 2 years.
There you go.
And I'm not sure I really want to be on too many committees either. But I appreciate all the work that people put into it, more than you know, and more than I really understood in the past. Thank you all.
There you go.
Thank you.
Awesome. Great, folks. Well, thanks.
Thanks, Bill. We appreciate
As always, if there's
you,
any
as
questions,
always.
don't hesitate to hit me up.
All right, so stay in touch.
Will do.
Okay. Okay, so the next item is, unfortunately, because MRC couldn't make it, this may be a short meeting, but we were going to talk about our short-term and long-term goals. And I had those all pulled up until my computer decided it was going to shut down. So let's see if I can quickly get that again.
I guess one of the short-term goals would definitely be planning the public meeting.
In regard to the vote you're
The
talking
vote.
about, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, which is a new goal because we really hadn't discussed that previously, but things just change. All right, so we know that that's going to happen. We'd like to continue to have MRC come out. The issue with MRC was that when we started to talk about what she was actually going to focus on, it was more about her audience was going to be more about individuals, two individuals who were receiving their services, how their benefits such as Social Security might be affected if they were working. And, you know, that's really not what we were looking for. We were looking for more about what kind of supports does MRC provide to employers, right? Because we're trying to educate the employers here in town. And so the woman that I had been corresponding with said that she was not the person to be having that conversation with. So she said there were two individuals that she was familiar with that would be very well versed in that. And she was going to speak with them about presenting, but we just couldn't pull it together for today's meeting. So I'll wait a little bit and let's see what we hear back from Bill and if this February 6th is going to work for whoever it is from the VOC that would be able to come out and speak to us. And if they can't do it until March, then we can try to have MRC come in February. I think, so what we had talked about previously when we talked about goals was, I think the focus was also going to be on employment. And we had also discussed housing. I don't know, does anybody have any thoughts on that? To keep the conversation going, I guess, particularly on the employment.
I agree with Lorna that with the vocational school on the agenda now, and also with the upcoming discussions about a new high school, that's probably going to take over.
Rest.
I have a feeling that that's going to take quite a bit of time.
Okay.
Especially since some of the other communities would like to have a voice as well. So I personally, I think that for the next 2 meetings, that should probably be our agenda. And then the speaker that you had in mind would probably be after March, like April.
Yep, that would be fine. What do we think we should do in preparation for the vocational discussion? I know, I'm sure we've all read, many of the articles that have been printed in the item. I can say that I have not gone to the website and looked at any of those documents in detail or verified whether what we're reading is accurate. I don't know if anybody else, if anybody has done any other kind of research. I'm just, do we want to prepare a set of questions that we want to ask whoever the representative is that ends up coming?
Since it was
I wish that I could
Melrose,
have more of a visual. I wish I had more of a visual, because, just reading it for me, unfortunately, is, I can't seem to visualize exactly what they're talking about. I know that where they're thinking about putting it seems to be up pretty high, in that the parking area is going to be lower and there's going to be lots of stairs and things like that. I just wish I could visualize it there, because the other site they were talking about, the first site that seemed to be I guess, okay with most people, was going to be on their football field, which is also on a hill,
Yeah, it is.
but they wouldn't have to cut through the forest as much, which I certainly can understand. Is like if they, where they're going to put it now, there's going to be like 2,000 trees taken out to accommodate the building.
Just looking to see if I saved, I thought I had saved some of the articles because I'm sure they have a website. That we
You
can
can
go
also
out
ask if they have, if whoever is the person that's going to be coming to present, to come with us slides to show us.
Oh, yes, absolutely, I would.
Because if you think about the number of architectural renderings, they use slides all the time when they're presenting. And I don't know, like, I assume that there are some Wakefield people that are part of whatever the planning committee is. We have a permanent building committee in Wakefield. But this is not a building that's being addressed by the Wakefield Permanent Building Committee. I assume it's a separate committee because it's a multi-town committee. But who from Wakefield
Is on it.
is on that? So I know our permanent building committee is right now working on the high school and the police station, police and fire station, the public safety building. Those are two things on their agendas. I don't know if there are other schools on their agenda. So like town hall and all those buildings would be part of permanent building committee.
So it's just one permanent building committee for both those projects? They don't have a separate one for each project?
They, no, they deal with all of the town-owned buildings in Wakefield. But this is not a building that's owned by the town of Wakefield, the Voc. I would assume that's why they're not dealing with that. I would assume that there's a separate committee that's specifically for the Voc. And what are the towns? I know it's Melrose, Wakefield, Saugus. Is it Malden?
Revere, Malden,
Revere, Malden, and
See if we
Linfield.
can find it here.
Reading, is Reading part of it too?
And maybe Stoneham?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do think so.
Let me look
Let's
it up.
come up with these.
Oh, there's a building project right on their website. How about that?
There it is.
12 communities north of Boston. So it's 12 cities and towns involved. That's a lot.
See if it says. There is a site plan, Lorna.
Yeah, it's a building committee.
I'm gonna see if I can share my screen.
This is interesting because their number 2 issue on their site, the number 1 issue is overcrowding. More than 300 students on a wait list every year. Issue number 2, limited IEP accommodations. About 25% of the students have IEPs. The limited resources the school does have available for this population are not centrally located. How about that? Because that's one of the complaints that was in that letter.
Well, I don't have the capacity on this call to share. I don't know.
So the architectural firm is Drummy Rosane, DRUMMEY ROSANE Anderson Inc. is the project designer. Architecture firm located in Waltham.
So I wonder who it will be that Bill will reach out to that would come.
Well, there's an architect's rendering.
Can you, are you able to share anything?
Yeah, I'm just on my
Oh, here you go.
phone.
Here we go. All right. Host disabled, participant screen sharing. Yeah, because I'm not the host. So annoying. Well, what I'll do is after our meeting, I'll send out this link to the site. And so,
Brittany Carasella is the Wakefield representative. Brittany Carisella.
okay,
And her email address is on the website.
okay. So,
Marie, you might be able to claim host under participants. At the bottom, it looks like you can claim host on the lower right hand corner.
so if I go under participants.
I
oh,
thought
here
I
we
had
go.
texted that
Yep,
out to you.
Yep, here we go.
You were probably trying to find, getting on the computer, but I had texted out to you how to claim the host.
Okay, hold on, let me get my host ID here.
And Stephen Mayo is also on the committee from Wakefield.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. So I see Winthrop, Revere, Chelsea, Melrose, Winchester, Reading, Malden, Saugus, Wakefield. And there must be a Stoneham, North Reading. There's somebody from Tewksbury, but I can't imagine Tewksbury comes that far. Just might be somebody that's a building person.
Okay, yeah.
I would think that Lowell,
That'd be closer to Tewksbury, you don't think?
Building project. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see if we can. Trying to see here. Can you see? I don't know how, I really can't make this any bigger. Can you see the site plan now?
Yep.
So they're saying, here's the existing school. Here's the ball field. So I can kind of visualize where the ball field is. So it's saying here's existing vegetation to remain. And here's the school. So it's really, looks like it's really tucked back into what we would go, if we went up there now, it would be all woods. And so.
it is.
How is that bigger than the existing school?
I know.
And
Maybe
you
more
know, why
schools.
they can't use this track or the ball field to put the existing school like what we're doing.
Right, with the high school, yep.
Again, I've read different things in the item, you know, people saying they can, or, you know, we don't, how do you find out what's really the truth and whether they can or not? And why did they really choose this new location versus choosing an existing area that was up here?
So is the parking lot going to go where the existing school is? Is that the issue? And then also talking about they're gonna have to, students in the parking lot are gonna have to cross 2 lanes of traffic to, you know, and not to cast dispersions, but teenagers are not necessarily the very safest drivers as they're coming up and down that.
Well, didn't we
Road.
have an incident a handful of years ago at Wakefield High School up at that I'm trying to remember where it occurred. Did it occur right, between Beasley Oval and the school where one of the kids was pulling out and didn't see a young lady walking behind them and hit her, and just the way they caught her, she did not survive.
Mm.
So, yeah.
No, that's awful. Well, it'll be interesting to find out just what I'm trying to figure out is the ramping system might meet the, as Bill said, the letter of the law, because it is designed with an elevation, 10 feet and platform, and if the platform is wide enough so that you can have two people using wheelchairs pass each other, and then it goes around the corner, and then it goes up another 10 feet, and there's a platform. But it does that, the equivalent of 10 flights of stairs. That's it, and there's not a chance it's going to be maintained in the winter, and that it's going to be ice-free and snow-free and safe for people.
And I don't know if anybody's ever assisted anybody on one of those long ramps. It is
It's horrible.
tough.
Oh,
It is
yeah.
tough on an automatic wheelchair. It is tough on a manual wheelchair.
Yeah.
It is
Yep.
tough.
And then for other people going up 10 flights of stairs is
A lot.
I think what I read, that you're going to be going up 10 flights of stairs. That the only place where I've ever seen that is like Holy Cross College. Their campus is on such a steep hill that you just go up massive amounts of stairs, but I don't even think that's 10 flights. That's a lot of flights of stairs to go up for people. And those aren't going to be maintained either. They're going to be slippery. There's going to be problems with it. It just.
I'm wondering, Lois, what's the name of the gentleman from Boston that kind of heads the State Disability Commission? I wonder if he's been
I was
tapped
wondering about that too.
into it all, and
Office on Disability.
The Mass Office on Disabilities. I
yeah, what's that gentleman's name?
can't think of it offhand, but I can
It will
look.
come to us.
Yeah,
It will come.
He came and
Mhm.
spoke to us, right?
yes, he did.
Was
Yeah.
his first name Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dugan.
Jeff Dugan.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yep.
Yeah, Jeff Dugan, that's it.
Maybe he needs to be invited to this meeting, because he would have some really pertinent questions, I would think.
It also would be great if there's more than just one person from the building committee, because if we're going to get all these disability commission people together and all the PAC people and all the interested voters, they should be given the opportunity to send a whole bunch of people so that they all hear what's going on.
How about WCAT getting involved with this?
No, they have videos of them,
They have videos
of all the meetings for the Volks School,
of all the meetings for the Voc School.
are a lot of them.
Yeah, we'll make sure that I'll contact them directly once we hear from Bill.
They have YouTube videos.
And I suppose, we'll contact the items so that, hopefully a reporter would be. So I'm just looking in the site that I'm on. If you can see at the top there, northeastbuildingproject.com. And then I've gone into the documents, and it says here, design development schematics. I think we're gonna just have to, search around on our own, but we can probably, oh my gosh, schematic design binder, drawings. I bet we can see that. Look, it just keeps going on.
Mm.
We can probably find the ramp if you dig for it. Schematic binder.
Bill will
Because
check.
I would think that would be something we would want to see, obviously Bill's got something that he's looked at.
Oh,
Maybe I'll ask him to send or maybe he can direct us. I mean, there's a lot of information here. It's the
There's a
design.
project flyover.
I was just, oh, wait, is this it? Design. Project
Yep,
flyover.
yep, press the go
All
button.
right, let's see if we can. Can you see it? Let's see if I can make it bigger.
Yep.
Looks very nice.
I can't even visualize where this parking lot is.
So I don't know, is this where the football field and the baseball diamond are currently? Doesn't
I don't know.
see if I can stop this at all.
Yeah, I think the football field and the diamond that you saw are the exact same place that they are now.
So yeah, so where is the parking lot where, so that was the end of it. Let's try it, see if I can do it again.
Yeah,
didn't
because it
see it.
certainly doesn't look like 10 flights of stairs from that visual.
Let's see, here
I
we
didn't
go.
even see, I didn't see a
So,
large parking
Look,
lot.
this is the drive, all right, the long drive that gentleman Bob was talking about. Oops. See if I can,
And that
There's
looks like
certainly-
maybe
There's
faculty
some,
parking.
so where is this driveway? Is this coming off of Farm Street?
Saugus line. Saugus line.
Saugus line.
This is coming off of Farm Street in Saugus. So then our high school entrance is to the left of this somewhere.
And is this like perched on top of a big hill, this road?
Yes, I believe so.
That looks dangerous.
Yeah, it looks like the road just like this is a big hill.
Yeah, it looks like it's on the crest of a hill.
Right, so the kids are speeding up, it's icy, and somebody goes off, goes off the side and rolls down the hill.
I assume that they'll have guardrails on both sides. It's like one of those California roads that you're on that has nothing on the sides.
but he's right that there's no sidewalks.
Yeah, he's right, there's no sidewalks. All right, so let's stop, keep going. What is that? I'm curious. Oops, stop. What is that little building to the left, I wonder?
Mm. It could be like equipment for going down to all the fields, because that's the side that all the fields are on. It could be like a field house.
All right, so here's some parking as we approach the school.
Again, an
It's
energy,
like a turnaround driveway for buses and things.
Energy park.
Energy, oh, yeah, that's,
it's all
remember
the
them.
solar. Both schools are gonna be solar.
That's
Good.
right. And the Wakefield High School is going to tap into that energy park, if I recall correctly. Yep.
But possibly the Woodville years later.
All right, so here's the football field. So this is where the existing football field, if in baseball field.
Yeah.
And that walkway on the left just ends, so that's not where the parking lot is.
So Hemlock Road, which is there now, that is going to be the exit coming out of there, or, because one is supposed to be the entrance going in, the other is supposed to be the exit, right?
Maybe, so that maybe going this way might be
Yeah.
Hemlock. Let's see if I can, trying to just move this manually so I can go slow. Yeah, you can't, if you don't, so this is coming around the other side of the school. It looks like there's this, maybe a street over there to the left, but it's just hard to tell from this.
Mhm. Do we think this is a 4-story building?
Does that show the ramp that they've been discussing?
I don't
Does
see
anybody
it.
see it?
I don't see
don't
it at
see
all.
Go back. I mean, it's got to be here on the left-hand side somewhere, wouldn't you say? Well, it's coming from the parking lot, so, and that's the thing, we don't know where is the parking lot? Where is it?
It has to be right here as you're coming in. Yeah, like what you're looking at right here.
That's the parking lot?
That's what I think it is, because it looks like it's rows of spaces.
So where's,
That might be faculty, you think? Katie? That's the,
I don't know.
Visitor
Because
parking or
if that's faculty, then yeah, where is students?
and visitors.
Yeah. Or are they all, or is it the view is just off enough that you can't tell how many spots are actually there and it's all combined?
And that certainly doesn't have a ramping system coming up.
no, we're not seeing any ramp in this picture. Okay, so that might be a point to make to Bill that, we should all, do a little more digging on this page, but just tell him that at least in the flyover, we're not seeing what we think. Where's the ramp that they're talking about,
There is there's another video
Okay, tell me where.
that is
Let's see if I can get.
under design. Project
Okay,
flyover.
Design, yep.
Oh,
And
no,
where?
it's that same one, I think, but there was one place that it looked potentially as if there was a hillside going down to a parking lot, but the parking lot's without all the space lines in them. I can't tell how big the parking lot is. Is this a 20-person parking lot or a 100-person parking lot?
I'm wondering if it would make sense for the February meeting to maybe have Bill explain to us what he knows about answers to some of the questions with the ramp and whatever, and then have the meeting for more of the public venue in March.
I think that sounds good. My only concern is that zoning board of appeals, because my understanding is so many of these decisions have already been made. I was talking to a town councilor who said that a lot of these decisions had been made back when we voted on this. And that just people weren't aware of the small print.
And
But didn't what we voted on was the original design, the original where they were going to originally put it? That's what we voted on. It's where it was
Right.
supposed to take over the football field and I think maybe part of the baseball field. That's what we voted on. We didn't vote on this one.
Says there, community information session presentation. Let's see, that shows us.
see, that's the piece that I'm concerned about, is that if this has been approved by the state, it's been approved with drawings. So it's not like they approved the concept, they approved the actual plans. And so I don't know if we're going to be able to make them go back to the drawing board in any way, but this ramping system is just ridiculous.
Just think time is of the essence.
Mhm.
I'd rather get some information to them than.
Well, let's see what Bill comes back. Oh, here we go. Here's some more new construction. Yeah, Okay, so this looks like the different options, C1, C2, C3. Why was C3? So B2, oh, that was a renovation or an addition.
Mhm. That's like our high school. There was a vote on the possibility of doing renovations to the existing building, which I think actually would turn out to be more expensive.
And so C2 is an overlay onto the baseball field and the football field. So let's see.
Is
Oh,
there any place on that site that it lets you put in a search for ramp? Because that's really the disability piece.
have to see if I can go up here and see.
Wonder if there's stone that they have to deal with as well, if there's ledge.
Oh, tons.
Yeah, so that they'd
Yeah,
have to.
that they said that was why, that's why some folks are disputing this location because of the amount of blasting that's going to have to be done. And so those folks like Bob, the neighbor, he's concerned about that because if his home is close and they're going to be blasting, there's potential for damage to his foundation.
It can damage your foundation. Yep, we had that happen. We lived right near Melrose High School. And they blasted to put in what is now, what back then was the quote new high school. And we had issues and we're a block away.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only up the street, I'm off of Old Nahant Road. And I said that to my husband, we put on a beautiful screened in porch 2 summers ago. And I said, and we sit out there and listen to the birds chirp. And I said to him one day, you know what, this is going to be coming to an end the minute that vote project starts. I said, we're going to be sitting here listening to, the beep, beep, beep of the trucks coming back and forth in blasting. So here's the front entry. And there's no ramps here. So it's the events entry.
Well, that's on a slight hill.
Right.
Well, that looks like a slight hill in a drawing.
View from existing school. View from existing.
That's the track and
This is
soccer field. That also football field, maybe.
Yeah, here. So let's go here. Site plan. Existing school. Where is this? Is it? This was.
You know how you have to go down that big
Okay.
hill to get to the soccer field? You go down a pretty steep embankment. So if I look where looks like the track with the field in the middle of it, and that parking lot that's attached to it right there.
Right here.
Yeah, I wonder if this whole parking lot is what they're talking about, because that I think goes up a big hill. If that's going to be maintained as parking lot.
Well, this is that long drive that we were looking at. So this has got to be Farm Street.
Yeah.
Obviously on the Saugus side. This must be Wakefield High School football field. So you're coming up this. I don't see any existing vegetation to remain, so I don't see any parking here. This is the
Would the
parking, I think.
ramp and the stairs be actually not anything that you saw in the flyover? Because like what we saw that started the flyover was all the way on the left side of your screen and it flew
Correct.
in towards the right. So
Correct.
it's the potential that the ramp and the stairs and everything have nothing to do with the part we're looking at, but have everything to do with the parking lot that's over by the existing school location right now. And
Here.
so, yeah, so it's that part to get to the school is what that ramp piece is.
I think that's true.
It could be this. Do you see this
Yeah.
right here?
Yeah.
This looks, this brown,
Mhm.
this could be it, but they conveniently left that out of the flyover.
Right. Because it's, yeah, it stops and turns around and comes back.
Right. So maybe these are stairs and, yeah, so,
Students have to get to the
I
athletic.
think you're right, Katie. I think that's,
you'd need
But
a
then
bus to get to these fields from school. How would anybody, well, just. So this must be all this must be where all the parking would go. What is the existing
Mhm.
school location
mhm.
is parking, so it's getting from there.
Yeah, and that's all hilly.
Yep, to here. Right, because if you're standing at the Voc where it is now, if you were coming up Hemlock Road and you go into the entrance and you look left, that's where these fields are
And
now.
also think about the new school building. If you look at that, clearly there's parking. Why aren't they putting the accessible parking spots there? There should be, if they decide they need
Up
20
here.
accessible parking
Yep.
spots, yeah, put them all where they're clearly accessible into the front entry of the building, or you could go slightly around the side to the,
Yeah, good point.
why aren't they? And they still are gonna need a ramp going from the parking lot coming up for people that need to use it, but what kind of
But do
parking
we know that
accommodation?
that's not the plan?
We don't know, so we
We
should be
don't know.
asking
Right, we don't know.
about that to find out. And I'm just thinking about kids, they're gonna be on, he said, I'd like to go down on my inline skates. Gonna be a lot of people using that ramp for things other than what it's supposed to be used for.
Well, it's just the point that was made. How are they going to keep that clear? How are they going to keep that clear?
Mm-hmm.
So they can clean it off before the kids get there and the kids go. And then, some kid has the doctor's appointment and comes in later in the day while it's been snowing all morning, and somebody going to be there 24, throughout the school day, just continuously
I don't
keeping
know.
that
Right.
sanded.
So I was
and
also
salted.
thinking about the existing vegetation to remain, a couple of sticks and leaves and everything else that falls down on the ramp, that makes a big issue
Mhm.
too.
Good point.
So like, no one's coming up with a broom all the time in the middle of spring and fall
That's
and dealing
true.
with that, or with the rain.
Mhm.
How do you access Breakheart from? The
To me, I
entrance.
thought
where-
it was right at the bottom where it says existing vegetation to remain, the like.
Yeah, I was
bottom
wondering
one.
if I was
That's what
wondering
I
if that
thought
was
the
it.
entrance to Breakheart was right there.
Okay.
Got a check right there.
Yeah, this is definitely the football field at the high school, so I think.
So that's where the new high school's going, right?
No.
Oh,
No,
that's
the
a
new-
good point.
The new
Is
high
this
school is supposed to go with the Beasley Oval.
where the oval is?
The
Yeah,
oval.
yeah.
And I don't know why they're doing that. I don't know why they don't put it over where the baseball field and the field hockey field is.
Water table is out of
I think that had something to do with the soil,
Yes,
Soil?
something about whether or not it would hold it.
water table is high there.
Is it
The
too
water
wet?
table is high over by
Yeah.
the baseball field. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be, because I think there is water running there, under there. All right, let's see, existing
The
trail.
oval is actually down further.
Oh, here we go. Proposed new accessible elevated boardwalk. So I think, see these broken lines, so I think.
Now, is
existing
that boardwalk through, like, in Breakheart?
No, I think it's what we were looking at right here. I think that's what they're talking about. Let's go down a little more, see what else we
Makes
find.
sense, yeah.
Here's the new access road.
And the concept, if this is gonna be wooden, that's gonna like last a year.
Well, it really should, I guess if it were metal, you'd really be skating on it.
I was thinking concrete.
Oh, yeah. This is all financials.
I think you're right, Marie. I think that's, and Katie, I think that is the plan for the quote elevated walkway.
I don't see any more pictures here other, just a lot of statistics.
Mind blowing how much this is gonna cost.
Yeah, both of them together.
Mind blowing.
This is,
I think you're right. I think that elevated walkway trail, the next slide is showing the walkway. Yep.
right.
Is that
see
the
it?
same shape? You're right. Yeah.
All right, well. I'll send this link to everybody, so if you can peruse it, and then we'll wait to hear feedback from Bill as to whether these folks are, I guess they don't have a choice but to be receptive, do they?
And if we can find out when that's going, potentially going to the zoning board,
Yeah.
so that we don't miss, if there is a window of opportunity, that we don't miss it. And then we can ask those questions that Katie mentioned, like in all that parking lot that we see to the left of the school building, how many of those spaces are going to be accessible, and are they going to be designated for faculty and students and visitors? So if you know, on average, there are 15 students that need accessible parking, 5 teachers and 5 visitors, and I'm just making that up out of thin air. Reserving 25 spaces, would that be enough? And have they done that?
Well, I think we know that for visitors, there probably has to be so many handicap parking spaces per just overall number of spaces, right? And then,
Mhm.
And then you're right, there should be a big section reserved there for students
Mhm.
with mobility issues that are gonna need
Mhm.
to get in there and not have to deal with the ramp.
Oh, yeah. And I have no idea how many students there are now. And one of the things they said is they've got a 300-person waiting list. So if they're gonna make the school a lot bigger.
Built for 1,600.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I thought. I saw too, 1,600, so.
Wakefield High School would be 1,000.
You can't come down onto Farm Street in the morning as it is. That should be quite interesting.
Yeah, I don't go near that.
They should never have taken a lot of the trade programs out of the high schools to begin with.
Should put them back.
They should, I mean, because so many kids, they can only take so many kids at the Voc schools, and so many kids get denied that don't want to go to college, but would prefer to be in a trade.
Mhm.
And there's nothing there for them at the high school.
Right, are we seeing, let's see if I can. I don't know if there's anything else. Can subscribe to building project updates. There's a lot of information in here. News. Wondering if it's said. Okay, January 13th. I guess that's a reminder that.
That
Is
was
that,
last year.
oh, that was right. So town meeting is coming when, the end of this month. Lois, when's town meeting?
Offhand, I don't know.
I think it was a Saturday,
Okay,
28th.
something like that.
Okay. So that will be an important date. Is there anything else you folks want to look at?
Can I say something, Marie?
Sure, go ahead, Dan.
Okay, thank you. I think there's some video recordings of the meetings with the Volk School on WCAT, and they would be listed under the December meetings, and it pretty well discusses a lot of this stuff. I mean, it gets down to the parking lot with the snow retention, where water is going to be directed to. I think water is going to be directed to what is now the baseball field there, as you come in on the left. And I think the football field, which is kind of raised up on a hill. The only time I've been there was for like Relay for Life, but it's kind of high up. It seemed like they just left it there, and their plans going back say ice rink. And they keep on keeping that ice rink diagram there, but they said we aren't building one. But I think they're planning on down the road an ice rink there.
Interesting. All right, so you
My
say,
personal,
Do you know if they're going to have a pool again?
well, I think that would be part of the ice rink, an aquatic center maybe, and a rink. And that way they could
Yeah.
right in electric solar panel, electric plant there.
I don't think there's a pool planned for the new school building.
I don't think so.
Oh, that's too bad.
In the ice rink, they've done the feasibility of that is that building would pay for itself if they rented out the ice space. So,
Well, Wakefield High School, I believe, and the Volk wanted to share a rink up there, and they looked into it. And they had to get a management company to manage the rink. And there aren't too many rinks around that make money. So I think that was why they kind of turned it down.
mm,
all right, so I'm on the WCHC website, but I don't particularly, I'll send that link too. I just
Yeah.
don't.
In December sometime, the videos, but it shows pretty accurately where the school is, where the parking lots are, where they're gonna push the snow. It gets pretty detailed. But the trouble with the Volk School, where Wakefield, I think, had 31 different video meetings about the high school. I mean, everybody knew what was going on. That one up there was very few meetings on Zoom, and a lot of the meetings were conducted at the Volk School itself, which you couldn't access.
So you think it would have been under the public channel archives?
Yeah, it's gonna be under one or the other.
Okay,
But usually they have YouTube videos of, I've watched some of the meetings, so it was in December. They're showing probably December stuff now, where it's just the first weekend in January.
would it be under town council meetings?
No,
No, okay. All right, well, I'll try to find it and then send out the link. Okay, does anybody have anything else?
We're also, as far as Lois and I are both on the Traffic Advisory Committee, which is like liaison to the Disabilities Commission. But the traffic study alone for that school was like over 300 pages. So it's almost impossible to read it.
Right.
But they were more interested in the two little mini rotaries that are going to go in up on the Saugus Farm Street line and also down at Hemlock Road in the Hart Street, another little mini rotary.
Yeah, I can see where farm in a hunt could definitely use something like that.
They're trying to switch the Hemlock Road over into the parking lot of the high school that exists right now and have it connect on with Nahan Street. So it's a 4-way intersection. Right now, it's like a 5-way. So that way it would make it a better, but instead of having that intersection, they want a rotary in there.
Yeah, you can see where that really something, they're gonna have to do something there because now that situation at the high school is a mess. Coming up Nahat Road and Farm Street and trying to pull out, it's scary. All right, if we are set, does somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Thank you,
let's
Paula.
adjourn.
You were muted. And Janet, I just want you to note that Levon and Kristen are missing tonight. And then someone second that
I will.
I second it.
motion, okay? Okay, so it's 8:22 p.m. and I will adjourn the meeting and be back in touch as soon as I hear from Bill on any feedback that he gets. Okay, and thank you all. Have a good night and we'll chat soon.
Thanks, Marie.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you. Same to you.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.